Good morning. It's Saturday, May 13th, 2017, about 9 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. And I just wanted to make a real quick little video just for those of you who don't believe that fracking or hydraulic fracturing, oil, gas extraction, and wastewater pumping operations in the Midwest of the USA have nothing to do with earthquakes. This morning, about 4:30 in the morning in Oklahoma, there was a 4.2 magnitude earthquake. This is the U.S. Geological Survey, and this is the EMSC, which is the European version of the same. As you can see here, there's a 4.2 earthquake in Oklahoma at 13:08 UTC, which is Universal Time, which translates to 4:30 a.m. and 08:32, which is 4:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the U.S. We'll look at the scientific data and see, check the magnitude. Some of these seismology reporting stations are showing this up to almost a 5.0 magnitude earthquake. So for the Midwest USA, that's a pretty good size earthquake. So what we're going to do is just grab the coordinates down here of the location, and we'll copy that, and then we'll go over to Google Earth, give that a second to load, and you can drop that down here up at the top in the search bar. Just copy and paste the coordinates and click search, and it's going to take us down right onto the location of that specific earthquake. And as we zoom in, you can already start to notice these little pads right here. And so just to give you an idea of how many they are, right smack in the middle of the United States, look at these all over. All of these are hydraulic fracturing or wastewater pumping operations or gas and oil extraction operations. This is the price that we pay for cheap oil. So this area that this is in right here is also called the New Madrid seismic zone, and it's an area that runs all the way down from right about up in here all the way down into parts of Texas, and then back up along here down through Tennessee, Georgia, parts of Georgia, and then it goes up the east coast all the way up into Canada. It runs right down here, and right smack in the center of it right there is where our little earthquake is. Again, it was a 4.2, some reporting it as high as a 5.0, right smack in the middle of Oklahoma. And as you zoom in, what you're going to notice are these little pads. These are not homes, these are not parking lots, these are not clear cuts from trees. There's not very many trees out here at all. So what we're going to do is just pick one random, zoom down in on it, and take a look and see if we can tell what that is. The telltale sign right here. The sun shining when this GPS was taken and the imagery for this was taken. The sun was shining just right to where you can see the oil pump right there. But the telltale sign is this square pad with these storage tanks on the side and the pumping operation right in the center. There's your pumping equipment. So just to give you an idea of how much of this is going on, and why, partially why we have such cheap gas right now, is because the entire area is being drilled thousands of feet down underneath the earth to fracture the crust underneath and release the natural resources of there. And as you can see, again, if you zoom down in, the entire area is completely, there are littered thousands of these oil fracking wells going on. And they're not just in Oklahoma, they're in Texas, they're in Arkansas, they're in Missouri, they're in Pennsylvania, they're in Tennessee. uh, soon to be in North Carolina, even in Florida, some places. So, for those of you who doubt that earthquakes are being caused by this, just remember that Oklahoma and Kansas and these areas used to be known for tornadoes specifically, and they're increasingly become known for earthquakes. If you think this doesn't have anything to do with the folks that live on the East Coast, or you don't live in the area so it doesn't affect you, just keep in mind that all of the transport lines that come from the ports on the West Coast that bring all your products and goods to your Walmarts all along the coast here, if any major earthquake happens and disrupts the interstate system in this area right in here, within 7 or 8 hours, all of your Walmarts will be completely empty. So, again, for those who don't believe, do your own research. Go to the USGS. Look at the earthquakes in Oklahoma. Go to Google Earth. Here's another one, a 2.7. A little bit smaller, but an earthquake nonetheless, enough that the USGS felt it was big enough to record it. Take the coordinates, drop it in over here on Google Earth, hit search. It's going to zoom right down on the epicenter of that 2.7 earthquake, and look what's all around this thing. It's surrounded by these little hydraulic fracturing and wastewater pumping operations in the middle. Usually within 6 miles you'll find wastewater pumping operations right here. So just to give an idea of how close to the epicenter of these earthquakes these operations are, we'll check and see the distance in miles. Less than a half a mile. Just a few hundred yards away, there's a wastewater pumping operation right there. This is hydraulic fracturing. This is why we have cheap oil, cheap gas. I'm not necessarily against fracking. I'm just saying that maybe we need to just kind of slow down a little bit. Look at the area, folks. It's just, they're all over the place. Thousands and thousands of them. You know, let's not get greedy to the point that we cause a major disaster to the interstate system, excuse me, and disrupt our supply chain just to get cheap oil. So there you go. The proof is in the pudding.